I was disappointed in Ong Yi Kang.
Damn.
500,000 flats will turn older than 45 or 50 years old in the next GE. They know they're sitting on a time bomb. They got 60 months to fix this. You all got a housing as a retirement asset issue. You all got a counterbalancing of US dollar irresponsibility issue. You all are trying to attract liquidity, but you don't want Chinese money to flow into hot property. It worked for us in the past. Let's see what else works for us as retirement assets. Then we have an honest conversation, ma.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us the breakout star of G 2025, in my opinion at least. He is the best performing independent candidate since 1972 and the heckler of Han Hui Hui. It was so funny that I found this out. That's on the CV. Please welcome back to the show, Jeremy Tan.
Hey! Thanks.
So the last time we had you on during a live stream, and I think we ran out of time. You were caught between talking about your life and policy to the point where John even had to say...
What else you were talking about?
John at one point said, hey, finish your story, bro. Now that we have a bit more breathing time and more breathing room, how was that experience like for you? And I think you were telling us off cam also that experience actually helped you shape like how you spoke in other interviews.
Because I think Daily Ketchup was a good pulse check for what the Singaporean voters are looking out for. Even a lot of my fans or my residents were looking forward to me being on.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, wait, I didn't really understood anything you said on Daily Ketchup. But the cuts and edits that you guys did, I think helped. So from there on, while I was distributing flyers, I'm watching the edits, I'm listening to it. I can see why it was confusing.
Right.
So I took the time to actually reduce the content that I was putting out and like really streamlining what the ideas were, because passing this chasm was the monumental part for me, because now I know how to really turn the message so that people get it.
But this episode we got time to edit, so you're gonna damn good. This episode.
Okay. So basically, I'll just expose everything I said.
But what was it? So like, for example, was it the communication about Bitcoin? Was it about the talking about the land cost? Like what parts do you feel like, okay, I need to shave off and streamline?
I think because I did not have enough, let's just say like normal moments like that before the Daily Ketchup.
Right.
So
But we were not your first, right? There was a lot before us, right?
Okay, so you know Rishi's podcast, right? I did it before nomination day.
Right.
And then on that podcast, I was saying, tomorrow I'm going to tell people, if the Workers' Party win Marine Parade Braddell Heights, and then you have a PAP in Mountbatten, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And then we walk over, and then I was like, oh no. And then I'm like, wait, change message. If I never step up, 2 players walk over. Then I changed it a bit. Then Rishi edited 1 week too long.
Yeah.
Right? I said, not say he edited, I think he did it with one of those podcast studio. Then it came out like 5 days later.
Yeah.
And then whatever thesis I was having is all
outdated already. I think one of the news sites covered you as this man single-handedly ruined a long holiday for 67,000. They could have slept in.
As it turns out, I did not, because Mountbatten had 12.2% absenteeism, highest in Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and then voter turnout for Singapore in general was the lowest since 1968.
Yeah.
So the May Day and the Vesak Day, to the people of Mountbatten who have money, they're like, yeah, sure, doesn't do anything.
Even at 12%, if they hadn't gone on a long weekend holiday, they may have... How do you think they may have broken down as voters?
I mean, okay, so as of today, the overseas voters, the one that actually bother to go and vote, I think the count is 4167, so around 40% as well, around 38 or 40%. That I just received from the people who are, so the BSP is there, the Workers' Party is there, here I am, I don't care. I mean,
you ask them, you say, hey guys, let me know what my one is.
We have friends all over, so they are just going there to go and count, and they're like sending me all the information, and then some of the disappointing stuff on polling day carry over to the overseas votes also. So it's equally disappointing overseas.
So 2 times.
But still doesn't account for absentee voters. That's different. Because if you go holiday, you don't have to register as overseas voter.
It's true, but I think a lot of people were saying also like, absentees, they could have voted for opposition, but actually a little bit of that could have been, they could have been PAP voters. It could have been,
Yeah, and actually also it shows, right, that if you are overseas voter, you most likely had to have seen the videos. And then if you still cast your vote for PAP, PAP means you are a very discerning voter already. Because you actually go and make the effort. And of course, some people cannot even do it. So for example, there are people that are stationed in Slovenia. They say, hey, this guy is like work for the Chenghu one. Then he said, he sent the wife here in Mountbatten. Hey, can you go and take a look whether or not this guy is worth voting?
Right.
But in Slovenia, you cannot vote. Right? There's only a few places you can vote. It does show that people are quite discerning this.
Right. Where were you during polling night?
Oh, I was at the counting center. So I was at Broderick, then I went to Daman to observe the counting. And the rules are quite interesting, right? 4 tables or 5 tables. Each table has a judge, an ARO or sort, okay? The returning officer will tell you, if you stamp, some maybe 3 tables have this rule, 1 table have different rule. You must respect.
Right.
So maybe 3 table is more smudge towards your side, you take. Then one is hit tiang out.
Right.
Hit above tiang out.
Means
hit
if
below
you cross
tiang
the border out lah.
Then you must go and bargain with them. It's just not you like that.
So it's quite subjective because one judge might be okay with it touching the line, one might not.
Yeah. But I heard a story about before it was a stamp, before you had to draw an X, right? Then some people like X1 tick 1, or like some people just draw a tortoise in a box. But then the leg of the tortoise cross over to the other box. Then they say the tortoise trying to walk there.
LSP Spencer was telling us that the head of the tortoise was in his box. Then like, the head means the
Wait, so but like the thing is, you can't argue for every vote because you don't have the physically you can't be at every spot,
so
right?
you must have
you have a whole team with you.
My volunteers are counting agents that were briefed by counting agents that formally help other opposition parties.
Right.
So there's this open community of opposition supporters. They don't even care what shirt color. They just go and help you distribute flyers.
As long as it's not PAP, we are good to go.
How do you even find them?
They found out. So on nomination day, all my volunteers, other than 3 friends, all my volunteers were all from online. They just decided to like really slide into the DMs. Let's go, let's go. Help.
But how do you do your due diligence? Like they're not like weirdos or like.
I mean,
or like PAP slide them in.
It's quite obvious, you know why? Because they walk around with like bags of PSP tissue packet, then some SDA banners, then like just helping whatever they can get. They're just doing all merch. Like even I have a super volunteer. He collects merch of all the opposition. So he printed out a picture of myself. He said, you sign first. Then he really go and help me distribute all the flyers.
Wow.
Super volunteer. He's very, very cool guy. Very, very awesome.
That's all he wanted lah.
But he really worked. He really go and walk around. And then because he lives in the Mountbatten area, then he said, I know every road. I know what to do. Then he just wants to do.
So because you were at the counting center, which means you also received it through TV like the rest of us, right?
So my poll count was at the less affluent area and block 10 area. So poll count was 38%. Then I was like, can maybe still can go higher.
Poll count meaning the sample. Okay.
Then after that, somewhere along the near the Pebble Bay, the new residents, the new Chinese, the new Indians, right? I scored high in that 40+%.
Wow.
40%. Yeah.
You did better in the new citizen enclaves than you did in the.
Yeah, I didn't say enclaves, but
which goes against popular belief, which is that new citizens might vote for PAP.
Yeah, that's my
correct.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So some people from within.
So are you a PAP more or what?
Yeah, me and Lim Tian, we receive benefit.
You heard it here first.
Hoto to me. So then, I was an accounting agent. Then I cannot use phone inside, right? So at first I see the count, then I was like, a bit disappointing lah. After 1.5 hours, I decided to step out. Then I see people congratulating me. What is this? I did a terrible job. What the hell? Then I see you got 0 vote one. Then I see you got loose deposit. Then got some is like PVP. I think the whole stretch all loose deposit, right? Nearly $200,000. Exactly. Then I'm like, oh, not bad. Then I go back inside, continue counting.
You mean on WhatsApp? Yeah. No, because I congratulated you also. I remember.
Yeah. And then I was like, so I didn't see that until much later, no. Yeah, because inside you must observe whether or not the tortoise head go where, right? Or something. Then after that, I'm like, actually we did so bad as the opposition. This is terrible. Then I go back inside, I'm just like,
actually you're quite good.
So speaking about the disappointment, what was your like projection, your internal?
I mean, I'm on camera saying this multiple times that I knew I was going to be 35% at least.
Yeah.
right? You in Singapore, you don't talk rubbish. You go there, put a good fight. You will take at least 35.
Yeah.
Right.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
No, I think you put out a good fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because like this time around we
I
saw
spoke
with the
proper
swing.
English lah. That's about it lah.
No, but he also had like substance and stuff, and the
Yeah.
policies weren't just like straight like xenophobia or like some one sort of thing. They
Or
were
just
just
like
one thing.
whatever PAP do, I don't like.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are presenting new things.
Yeah.
Particularly in the GE where we saw PAP, besides all the wards that WP was contesting in, got so much more of a margin. Like they won 80% in a few places.
Yeah.
So I think they did very well.
I mean, I felt like as an opposition, I was a bit scared lah. At the first 4 days, right, all the rallies they book out already, like because once they hit.
But it's
national
ballot
day-
one what?
Yeah, it's ballot, but every day they are balloting. Every day they go,
Oh.
and they are screaming at each other, or like all the memes, all the memes came from the rallies, right? Yeah. Then I was like, oh my god, if y'all do this, as an opposition, independent, I look worse, because the immediate mindset is. All the opposition teachers like that, then our place independent lousy don't bother that kind of thing. So it affects us one. So actually I did tell them like, y'all gotta tone it down a bit. But then because of rally, right, and voter, not the same group of people, no.
Yeah.
Rally is a lot of kepo one, no. They just
also-
kinda,
Going on the weekend also.
You could be swing voters, you could be voters from other.
and then when
areas
people
also.
make rally noise, right, they could easily be a pro PAP voter, right?
Yeah.
And then they just go and like me and Hao Hui Hui already. I think the election I probably voted PAP.
Who surfaced that video?
Okay, so right, the first interview I did with Balashi, right, I told him I want to give you the information. It's me. Then they're like their face blur what is this? Then because they wanted to craft me a certain way as a personality, then they wanted to like help me be less xiao. Then like, well, how we go?
And then you went there and you sat down and you said, actually, it's
But even then, a lot of people still don't believe, no. Like even in CNA, people they say, can we verify that? Can we verify? Are there sources to verify?
Yeah.
Then as of yesterday, they're like, yeah, it's verified. It's him.
Yeah.
It's really him.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like 100-way free game. Like nobody protect her.
But she really improved this time round, no?
Yeah.
Going up against Chanchun Singh is like, she didn't even say many, too crazy things or whatever. And then she did so much better than a lot of
So
other
I want
parties.
to bring you back to polling day just then we move on from that, right?
Sure.
So you got the results like the rest of us from like CNA, I would think. You were still at the polling station.
Correct.
And then you just watched it via your phone live stream or?
The final results, I went to Joel's party. Yeah, then afterwards I went to another bar because I know I cannot be count until win already lah. So just go and go and chong already lah.
So at the sample count lah.
Yeah,
So
at the sample count.
At that point, my honest question to you is, did you run to give them an opposition or did you run expecting to get a seat in parliament?
I run with want to play to win.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you lose now, right, doing work for the people, right, don't need to be in parliament. And I explain this, right, very, very simply in 2 sittings of parliament per month. Okay, you have 20 minutes to speak. And speaker decides the order, speaker decides the paper. Out of time, you need to file a written question. Parliament is an inefficient mechanism to get things done if you really want to go and, get something changed. To do this, right, and to really consider yourself a win, right, I must go out there and be like, okay, now I have a platform. Now I can go and work with people on actual change in the background. And people don't find me radioactive. They just no party, right? Talk to him lah. Right? Ideas only. I also never tekan PAP. I also just say idea is bad only, right?
Yeah.
So then you talk about wanting to join to win or what, right? I am okay with this type of result because legitimacy is the win, right? It's like if people find that you are a credible candidate, can work with you, can do things with you, then I think there's a success. Because
I agree.
a lot of time the Worker Party, they want to push forward for things in parliament. They respect the hours. Then Leong Man Wai just overrun the time all the time. He don't care. He just go. Yeah. And I think, honestly...
Do you think that affected him? You think that's one of the reasons why he...
So I spoke with people in his area. They say it's either too old or the xenophobia, like you said. That one was the big one.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of the people who said the xenophobia is not right because even like their parents come from China, but they're already like 45, 50 already. They say, what is this xenophobia thing about? And then the policies also, I think too much of spending policies.
Yeah.
It just lost focus because every one of them, right, have a manifesto, right? Every one of them say the money can come from somewhere. Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, the 9 days of campaigning, how to tell the people that it will come from somewhere and your calculation better than BAP.
Yeah.
Cannot be, right? Yeah, I think that also affected Dr. Paul Tambaya lah. The free healthcare thing. It's like what Trump say, right? You put a simple word out there, right? It gets stuck with you the whole election. Like NHS, people say Dr. Paul Tambaya is like, oh, you're proposing NHS. For the elder folks, they cannot wash that off the mind. Yeah.
You know which opposition proposed spending but also proposed where to get the money and we don't have to pay more?
Who?
Lim Tian.
Actually did.
He did.
Yeah.
He found the CPF spread to be sufficient.
I went to his rally. He also said that. And actually, I found that some of his guys at his rally borrowed stats from my website. Basically, I compile homework, then we share homework.
Invitations to greatest one of Palestine.
Yeah, but Singapore is like
No, so you brought up the rally just now. I think we're very curious, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
does one go about organizing their own rally?
And did you wing it by yourself the whole way, or you had someone tell you what's coming?
No, so at Mountbatten, right, you can only book Home of Athletics.
Right.
Posh location. $2,000, 2036.10. Wow. I think Pritam Singh's field is like $700.
Really?
But to do barrier, right, and then to do all the logistics might cost more because of the size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mine, I got MRT lah, I got water cooler lah, I got toilet.
Got amenities lah.
Yeah. So not so bad lah. But you have to set up everything yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And at that point, the cost was out of pocket. You didn't ask for donations or
He asked for
anything.
donation. There was one guy at the rally, quite funny. This uncle, he drove past, he threw $100 at my volunteer. Then he said, "Wow, you do very well, bye bye." And he just drove away. Yeah. Then the volunteer was like, "How do I identify? How do we declare sort of thing?"
Yeah.
Then he's like, "But cover BB send one, I tell you."
It's to see whether you end up using the money, then never
No,
declared.
but yeah, because he just throw that.
Check your IRAS bill.
Yeah, and it was a crumpled
Sabuk.
$100. No, it was like, no, you're doing very well. You buy some makan. And then he's like,
Might be counterfeit. Oh, no.
He's just a nice man lah. You're fuckers eh.
So anyway, the stage was 5950 and the audio was everything. The barriers
5950 for the stage.
And
No,
the
your
audio.
stage so small.
and the audio.
Okay,
so
okay.
all the audio, everything. And then also because it was raining like mad, right? So they had to go and find out if they can cover everything.
Yeah.
Ground sheet. And then the barriers was 1050.
Yeah.
But then the police say my barriers not fully heavy metal. Then I'm like, what was heavy metal? This one no lor. Then they say ours is law. then but you know, because the whole country all booked out for barriers because of worker party, right?
Yeah.
The same day, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
I got
right.
no more barriers. Right.
Right.
Then police say, we don't bang you. Give you a bit lah.
Oh.
So you see my rally got yellow and silver barriers is because the police lent me some. Okay. They also want to, the police officer quite nice guy lah. So he's like, I lend you some lah. Don't play fair lah, right?
Yeah.
But it's quite funny. This
I mean,
police
you
officer.
book late, it's not as unfair lah. You book late.
Because ballot, because it's a ballot thing, right?
Yeah.
So I knew that, not knew lah, I sort of guessed that Miss Goh will book 30th April. And because the weather predicted that first May will be very bad. And generally the PAP rallies, they want to front load it. They want to be out there early so that people know you, right? But so I put in a request for first May, right, on the 26th of April. Only on the 28th, then I got confirmation. Then I go down, pay the money. Then I can just, like I say, confirm it's happening.
And then it's only on that day that you learn you need to do barricade, you need to do stage, you need to do sound, all these things don't come with.
Yeah, because the liaison officer will come and talk to you, say who this can, that kind of. And that's when I discovered two facts about Singapore life. Firstly, two independents cannot share the stage unless they are officially in an alliance.
Right.
Secondly, 5 independents can contest one GRC without a party. Confusing, but I know it can be done.
But they can't rally together.
If they can rally,
Okay,
if they
okay.
say they are going to the same GRC.
Right.
So it was at that point in time, I'm like, oh, okay, I can't get Daryl on.
Yeah.
Because these are the rules.
Yeah.
You even mentioned you might go to jail if he comes on stage.
It was too late to like call an alliance and that was like, it must be before
This nomination day things
Yun
right?
Kai or what?
Yeah. Okay, we get to that later.
Hey,
We're getting there.
Okay, so the police officer, before I go out, he'll be like, Jeremy, come here. And I'm like, yes.
Well, you have to go to him.
Then
Okay.
he's like, hey, we saw your language online. No vulgarities today.
Yeah.
Then can lah, chill lah, relax. Then and after I came down, he's like, Jeremy, why you have to use the word suckers? I'm like, but suckers is a very British parliamentary term. I say, but now I need to report this word. Is it okay or not? No, then I say, but still okay lah. You give me heart attack, no, I almost die, no.
But so the date pick is because you wanted to go after your opponent so that you can clap back, essentially.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because having last say is you can clap back at anybody or nobody can clap back at you, right?
Yeah.
And more importantly, I wanted it to sound like branded lah, Mountbatten May Day. Yeah. Then it's like you're gonna give like go. And then I think the last day was only Workers' Party and myself.
Right.
And then Workers' Party queue like Hello Kitty like that, 2 hours all. Right.
It was wild.
Yeah. Then a lot of people say, I should have come my one because Workers' Party one, Madi long queue.
Yeah.
And then some of the speakers were not like Pritam Singh level. No?
Yeah.
So
Then you have to go through their 3, 4, 5 languages. And it's like,
yeah. So
I mean, I love it. I love that we're so multicultural, but it's just like, it's boring.
Yeah, it doesn't flow. As in, it just doesn't flow. So then people were like halfway through, they came to, after they realized they cannot do Workers' Party, and they grabbed down to Mountbatten.
Right.
Then I started seeing people at like 9 o'clock. Then I'm just like, I talk finish, bro.
You go again,
Were you surprised at your turnout?
Okay, so when you apply for location, right, you must put like the indication you expect more than 5,000 or not. Then the police need to know.
Right.
So I kaka lah,
But how will you know also? Like,
no, but it's better to play safe though.
Did the SMC with what 17,000 eligible voters?
but suddenly the police over allocate, then go like, what happened?
I regret not going to his side.
I almost wish the police had sent like multiple trucks of people.
So actually the turnout was I think nearly 2 to 3K. So the police will text you, hey, you are at this much capacity. So he'll tell you like around this much already.
Right. So what do you want you to do about it?
No, because if 80%, you must tell your people stop coming down. So he'll tell you. So wow, you know what I'm doing, like my rally, my phone, right? Then people are texting me. Then somebody try to live call me. Then like the police is texting me saying your capacity how much. Then I was like trying to screw while trying to roast the PAP.
Oh, you pulled it off so well.
And then I tell you what happened, okay?
This was
the day before the rally, my Oppo inside.
Walao Oppo!
And this is a premium phone, it's like 2,000 plus bucks.
User problem.
Yeah. So then I just like, and my computer broke down the same day. And I was like, wow, lightning really want to get me in this lightning.
It was very entertaining. Even the part where you had to talk about lift maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
You went so long on the
lift stuff.
Yeah. Actually, the other stats that I also missed out on the lift one, but never mind. It's like 150,000 to, everything, whatever. I see the crowd. Like they got it already, they laugh it, move on. Just don't bother with it.
I was going to ask, was there anything that you wanted or wished that you could say at the rally but couldn't?
Oh yeah. I wanted to say something. I think I scroll too fast. Then Miss Go the previous
problem
day,
just doesn't happen in political campaigns.
Miss Go the previous day she said, Jeremy Tan made most of his money and his wealth from selling a business and not Bitcoin. Why do you want to listen to him about Bitcoin? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
She just, I wanted to say, $600,000 worth of Bitcoin, nothing to you. Is it like peanuts, like the TT Durai like that? But I wanted to say, like, is it because you hear millions of dollars so often you forget thousands is a lot for people? I miss that one to really burn. Then that clip would be worth 100,000 worth of views.
Very viral for sure.
For sure,
That's true.
So I can say again here now.
Speaking of which, I mean, like a lot of your campaign and your policy ideas were around Bitcoin. Do you feel like as you were interacting and maybe hearing some of the rally speeches against you in particular, like do you feel like politicians misunderstand Bitcoin?
They really do. Even speaking with people who are friends with the man in white, they said they don't have a fundamental understanding of these things because they are so like really bogged up with all the policies that they need to handle that this one looks and sounds like there's no political advantage, so they don't even bother trying to go here, right? And then it's also like I'm saying Bitcoin is this solution to 3 or 4 things. I was on CNN the other day. I was like saying, you all got a housing as a retirement asset issue. You all got a counterbalancing of US dollar irresponsibility issue. You all are trying to attract liquidity, but you don't want Chinese money to flow into hot property. Seems sounds like Bitcoin is the answer. I'm saying these things, but they're like, don't even know who you're going to talk to now. Like, do we talk to Chatterjee from MAS, Ravi Menon? Do we speak to Piyush, or who are we going to talk to now? And then because so much leadership changed in the last couple of like 2 years only, they're also not very sure what to do with this. But I forgive the PAP if they are not sure where to go, because the Bitcoin ETF only came up in 2024 January. So they cannot have like made like crazy changes overnight. Like what you said, was it lost? Yeah, people were blur, of course. Even some of the people who are into crypto also like, hey, what's this? Why you propose like that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for some guy that as someone that thinks that is into crypto, right? My main question would be the volatility of Bitcoin now, because for holders, you can hold and you wait on a personal basis, right? But on a national level, it's very hard. Every year got people retire. Every year got people need to claim money. Every year, every month got payout.
So the best way to see this, and this is the first time I'm using this phrase because I reserved it for you guys. Okay?
Thanks so much.
Not after you give mothership the Han Hui Hui I don't care. Come on, drop this little shit that you give us.
So my proposal is that by 2030, Singapore becomes the world's best Bitcoin refinery. What do I mean by that? You take the volatility and you make money from volatility. You can create simple products that people can just buy Bitcoin and hold. You can create institutional products where people can benefit from Bitcoin bonds. You can create products in between institutions for insurance collateral. Singapore is the Asia's largest oil export hub. Now we need to see our digital export, which is Bitcoin. It will be Bitcoin in the next 5 years. So as a Bitcoin refinery, you take all the volatility, you sell it off, make money off it, give the institutions the leeway to play around with the volatility because they know how to make money off volatility.
But if you're making money off the volatility of Bitcoin, you're actually making fiat. What?
No. So to make money off the volatility of Bitcoin, one will own an underlying asset of a Bitcoin's related stock or Bitcoin, right? And then I will say, I want to hedge out some of the volatility, right? So someone will say, okay lah, I pay you for an option to own this much or whatever lah, right? Doing it as an entire country, right? We can get it done. So bank to even like brokerages. Like I said that day on this spot, I say simple product. Mumu say you buy Bitcoin ETF, we give you lock it for 6 months. We offer you maybe 10 to 20% margin to buy STI ETF.
Yeah.
So simple product like that can be crafted out. Then all the brokerages, the market makers can go and work among themselves. Right? What product makes sense for them? Maybe I want to be neutral, so I go and short the Bitcoin perpetual futures, this kind of thing. Yeah. Then I have always some neutral strategy. I can make some yield here and there, right? And you know, Lawrence Wong is actually the one that say he's been trying to reform the CPF, give higher returns with lower risk, right? But his plan haven't come out yet. I think maybe because election very busy. Yeah, Singapore as a Bitcoin refinery will be a powerhouse for the future because last time we always very dependent on US flows. We're very dependent on trade flows, right? Yeah. But if we put in time now to buy Bitcoin and hold it for the long term, if people know that Singaporeans have CPF invested in Bitcoin and they cannot take out until very long later, this will be a game changer. A lot of people will be like, okay, then we're going to have set up family office in Singapore. We're going to put money in Bitcoin, some amount in Bitcoin, maybe some in stocks, some, and you'll also revive your SGX. Because right now SGX, we only had like one IPO the last year maybe. And then and things are not going well. So if you list a SGD denominated Bitcoin ETF on SGX, right? Money that want to come here, right, will be like no brainer. We are also a yuan clearing house. No brainer. Let's put some money in Bitcoin here instead of US. Because US, you are subject to SWIFT risk. Right? You are subject, like, Ukraine invasion, straight away they freeze Russian money. So here we will be able to become more independent if we treat Bitcoin like a...
This is the assumption that Bitcoin will eventually be some form of reserve currency and will continue to be a store of value. Which I believe. But your assumption is based on that only.
I feel like we have good enough evidence that people are trying to make it a reserve. I mean, good enough that we can see that institutions are all pushing.
As someone that holds a lot of spot positions and trade, right?
A lot,
I'm not certain. A lot of spot positions. So like $0.1, $1. A lot of position. I'm not confident to say that I would then hedge the entire country's wealth, right? Or something like that. Because when I look at strategy, last time MicroStrategy, by the way, MicroStrategy changed to strategy.
No longer small.
I feel like if they keep buying, right, at some point, let's say they buy all, then everybody just say, we don't want to play already, we don't want this.
So actually, I'm a quite a hardcore strategy follower. To me, Michael Saylor is Bitcoin Jesus. Okay, so I follow everything, all his podcasts. I follow everything. Okay, it can be done if you take Michael Saylor's strategies, right, and change it for Singapore. We can really issue a lot of different products, right? The latest are Strive, perpetual income without the risk. So I also told this to some NTUC people, okay. I said, your ILP is performing like trash, okay, because you all got these Asian equities inside. I say Chinese equities that can never come back. I say, if you issue a Singapore-style Strive, which is a perpetual dividend, 8%, and you let the institutions figure out how to go and deal with the volatility, right? It can be done one. I won't bother y'all with all these other details here. Y'all can use AI get asked, right? But really, it's in Singapore, right? We got so many institutions dying to have Bitcoin exposure inside here that if we don't start doing something now, I think we'll be very late to the game. And strategy cannot buy so much Bitcoin to control the market. I think right now they are like maybe 4% of the market only. The largest corporation holder in the world. As the halving continues and as we reach 21 million, right?
We will never reach 21 million.
Yeah, I mean the price of Bitcoin will just keep going up relative to hard goods your housing, all these energy costs, right? Like what you say, you worry whether or not next time people want to play, like I don't want to play.
You already got all the chips,
Yeah, but don't forget, China is 40% of the mining pool, US is 40% of the mining pool. They are in there because they know they cannot rely on US dollar. It's an existential issue. You have to keep going for it and see how much of the pie you can grab.
So you're seeing it as both a hedge against inflation and a growth vehicle.
Not in the growth in the sense of like earnings and productivity gains. I'm seeing it more of like washing out back capital from your system. Right. In other words, like all your pension funds, they want to have better pension investments, returns, right? They need to hedge out against how much treasuries they're holding. And then a lot of these pension funds, they invest in managed funds, which is like actually all trash, mostly trash.
Okay, so something that you mentioned is that maybe a lot of politicians don't necessarily talk about Bitcoin or don't really know Bitcoin because there's no political advantage. And a lot of that is because maybe the public themselves have apprehension regarding the reputation maybe of crypto and Bitcoin. So then how do you plan, or maybe how do you think we can communicate and convince the public that actually Bitcoin's okay?
To convince them is, look, we need to go away from housing as a retirement asset. As East Asians, we have this problem, right? Because traditionally, Chinese people don't have property rights, right? For a long time, we always think of property as this like, surely must have some, if not, you have no.
Aristocrat.
Yeah. Even Warren Buffett himself, he said property is a terrible place to make money off because there are all these land issues, entropy issues, weather damage, corrosion, right? It's just that for us, we culturally need to be able to change. I was disappointed in Ong Yi Kang and Lawrence Wong because in this campaign rally, they go and say what? HDB is a retirement asset. I'm like, don't parrot the same thing already. Okay, so now they have the mandate, right? You all can say, look, it worked for us in the past. Let's look at the other options.
Yeah.
Right? And I want them to slowly change the message to, it worked for us in the past too. Let's see what else works for us as retirement assets. Then we have an honest conversation, because right now it's just like you telling people as if like a retirement asset, 500,000 flats will turn older than 45 or 50 years old in the next GE. They know they're sitting on a time bomb. They got 60 months to fix this. They don't fix this, next election, then dog will return. But we're just going to disturb them again. Right? Yeah. And really, everybody used to have this thinking that surely on block. As we found out, not surely on block.
Yeah.
So you mentioned in your website, I think to quote, like the HDB and the CPF system is designed to trap Singaporeans. Was this what you meant or was there more to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's what I meant, which basically to start and exit in Singapore, you need to pay HDB this much. In order for you to pay for this, they take your CPF retirement. Instead of compounding CPF, they compound your house. Then eventually when the lease decay, sold back to the reserve in terms of land.
But it go back to your CPF as compounded.
No, because you then based on how much you have in your retirement account, then there's different schemes like your CPF life, your payout, all that, depending on how much you have, your BRS, FRS, everything, right? So it's a whole calculations. But if they control you like that, HDB minimum land cost inside, here's how much you need to buy a house. Then they say CPF, this is how much we're going to take your CPF from. If they control you both ends, your retirement and your minimum cost to exist in Singapore, it's telling that it must translate You must feel like, hey, this system works for me Cannot be BTO lottery. On the rally day itself, somebody sent me, Dawson sell for 933k, Sengkang for 1 million.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, while preparing my rally, okay, let's add in.
Yeah.
But now that you mentioned all this, that to me is like, every Singaporean, right, has only two things he can look forward to towards the end of his life. He can look forward to his pension from his CPF. We call it a pension, but you get paid out, right? And you can look forward to maybe monetizing your HDB, downsizing, and making a living out of that, right? But now, if you're trying to sell the idea of CPF being that thing that you put in Bitcoin, and that is like now the guarantee, right? Oh, Singaporeans have put in money that cannot be taken out.
So
therefore,
still a pension.
Yeah, and it feels like now we're building it on a house of cards. It feels like this is, to me, it sounds like, this is what the subprime mortgages at one point felt like. We are bundling all these things together and we're like, okay, it will hold. we build, it will come. Like,
I think
and
the
it
point
scares
being,
me, you know,
if if I have the burden of governance, I can at least control to an extent land cost. I can control the resale value of your
all
house.
land belongs to the state. What? Yeah.
Cannot control the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, so you know why? Remember that time I come here and confuse your viewers with the 3D planning?
Why it really haunted you?
Yeah, that really haunted me. So now I changed to vertical planning.
Yeah.
I was another podcast just now. I was saying, look, imagine if every MRT, right, we mandate that MRT within a 2 km radius, 40% must be HDB owned commercial real estate. All your hawker center prices will go down. You anchor the pricing such that everything will go down, right?
Yep.
If you put all these sort of malls on top, and you say 100% is all malls, everything, right? Confirm your price will be up. Especially if these malls are REIT managed, right? But if you say 30 to 40% of MRT space within 2 km must be owned by HDB, and then you will push prices down. Because everything will be cheaper. It will be NTUC here. There will be hawker centers that are cheaper, not kopitiams. Right. And then you won't have this like super over globalization of like all the Michelle la, Changamata la,
The
Lakin la,
gentrification
right? Global gentrification, right? Now, if you want to imagine that world, right, it can be done because like what you said, all the land owned by government, what? It can be done. It's whether or not you want to be.
What is the trade-off for that for the
The
government?
trade-off obviously is that they have to go and manage expectations with foreign investors saying, hey, look, land is not going to be in the past because a lot of these land deals are priced out with 40, 50 year ROI. So they have to go and tell people, look, we are really facing an issue like that. We cannot keep going on like that. You cannot expect our land to be your real rate of return.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be a stakeholder management, right? You see, all the condos are built by Chinese companies. All that. They contribute to our GDP, but at the same time also come at a cost to us. Right?
Yeah.
So we need to do a lot of stakeholder management. It's not the American firms coming here to set up condos. It's always the Kingsford and all these people. Yeah. So we have to balance that out. Tell them, hey,
To me, the biggest trade-off is government revenue.
Yeah,
because if the revenue doesn't come from here and HDB owns it, it becomes part of subsidy and HDB runs a loss market.
Yeah, so this is the part, right, that will really get to the PFP. But imagine we tell the Chinese people, okay, we won't...
Chinese people as in us or Chinese
No,
people
as in China, right?
Oh, okay.
And the Hong Kong developers. Yeah, we don't want so much of your money in building property here and owning property here, but we let you offshore your money into Bitcoin here in Singapore.
No matter what.
So become professional.
Jeremy bringing you back to Bitcoin are the trick constants of life.
Legalize laundering lah.
No, because they want to have a place to offshore things.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want it to be in land. But if you want to buy Bitcoin ETF on an institutional level, you speak with your prime broker, they will speak with DBS.
Yeah.
Then we KYC AML your money. Then we know that you can put it in Bitcoin, you put it here lah.
Right.
In the Bitcoin ETF here lah.
So this is a separate thing on track to say this can help make up government revenue. Is that what you're saying?
Correct lah.
Okay.
Right. And we just don't want you to, you can build things for us, good things like we know we want train building capacities, we want lift maintenance, we want hard stuff, kinetic stuff.
Yeah.
But we just don't want land speculation.
Yeah.
Is my point. Right.
Okay.
But
I can
the whole
get
point
behind
of decentralized crypto is that if I'm rich enough, I want to put my money away. I don't need your KYC. I can do it anywhere else, right?
Yeah, but also boogeyman, right? It's like actually a lot of the Chinese people that want to move here, right? Maybe one of them is already a PR here, or grew up here, or is a scholar here, or attended NS here.
Yeah.
Then their family want to move more money. Then it's like, but they also don't want to buy overpriced ABSD 60% house.
Yeah.
Right? If they have a store of value, okay, maybe can consider we put 20% inside here, then we buy a nice house. Then we can ease off the pressure. Basically, don't be lazy in economic policy. Everything land is parcel for parcel. That's why we need to do vertical planning.
No longer 3D.
No longer 2D. Vertical planning.
And then I'm so sorry about that day lah.
You know the valuable lesson that Singaporeans only care about 4D.
So I think the other day that you were here, so we didn't have enough time to talk about your entrepreneurial journey. I think we stopped short of learning about Polar's Choice and the sale of it. But I also come to learn that there is something called TakeASeat.sg.
Oh, you brought
it.
it.
Hey, this guy is ready.
So actually, I have this tissue there.
This is in your back pocket.
It was his pocket the whole time.
Yeah, so I actually set this up to sell to my friends and family. And to take their money and then the net proceeds I donate to food.
To food.
Like care corners.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say buy
your own
Bitcoin.
That's my dog food. So, and then also my wife built an extension to install on Shopify websites that at the end before you check out, you can top up.
Yeah.
We were doing it halfway and then election season came about. So
Yeah.
then we chill on the online stuff. But this one is it's a tissue packet I've been selling, friends and family. You buy $5 for 4 packet, and then the net proceed I donate to food bank and care corner. However, I didn't want to go too crazy on it because there were some tear line issues.
Okay.
So I didn't want to go like super national on it.
Right.
Yeah, I just sold it to friends and family until I get the QC right. But now apparently everybody wants to help me.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna tell people, hey, the tear line issue, you're just tear harder. Because before doing that, right, people ask you, who are you? Why you want to do this? Question your motives. Then now I'm just like, if you want it so bad, I'm just going to sell you this. Okay. Yeah. You all can go and buy. I'll actually.
This is some special tissue that you've curated.
Yeah, it's bamboo tissue. It's nothing special. It's just high quality essential goods.
You designed all this?
Yeah, my wife designed everything.
Oh.
Yeah. So then, high quality essential goods that I wanted to help people because actually a lot of e-commerce things are very wasteful and people buy crap, right? I just didn't feel like if you're going to buy so much crap, right, might as well just buy a bit of tissue paper to help.
Yeah. Plus, if you're going to buy tissue paper anyway, might as well buy tissue paper to help.
And then I also felt like this size, like people can put in their pocket, which I just did. I showed you.
That's you can for sure.
And then also can
you
put,
don't have to.
and then can put at home or on the table like that.
Can fit the car.
So actually there's some product thinking about it.
Okay. The website to order is?
Not yet, about eventually I'll publicize it. And that's why I did the live stream that day on my TikTok because I wanted to get this started.
Right.
Yeah.
You spoke about that newfound, I guess, influence after GE, right? And you talked about on different media platforms as well that you're going to use this platform for good. I think there were some causes. Do you mind sharing what those causes are?
The first one is MS, right? Multiple sclerosis. Then we also have mental health. And then some of it is also youth entrepreneurship. So I think tomorrow or the day after I'm going to SUSS demo day. The following week will be ground zero of NUS. A lot of the youth voters care about these things and entrepreneurship because to them they see as the job income stability is no longer there. So I'll be going around to, working on these type of causes and also got others will be like the cats, right? We saw the Min Shan post on the cat getting the eyes gouged out.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a problem because ever since Louis Ng's advocacy to have more cats and in HDB, there are some people who, I don't know, is it because they're just angry or they're just very upset with the way this policy was created? They really do a lot more animal violence.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I think the stats are up. Just need to go and ask acres and all those. Food adequacy is also an issue. So some of the places, they claim that at least 20% of Singapore do not have enough to eat. Some of the food banks, they claim. Based on their estimation, based on they mean stats, this block, I come here, every time not enough food.
Sample count.
Yeah, so these are the issues that I'm working on. See how some of it is maybe I do a talk. Some of it is maybe I go and create a digital platform for people to raise all the issues.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of work can be done outside of Parliament. Parliament is, like we say, a terrible place to raise things because 20-minute speech, the speaker controls what you say. If not, you have to write a written question.
There's a lot that can be done more efficiently from ground up. Yeah.
Correct.
So speaking of which, there was something that I read on the Online Citizen, which says netizens felt like the MRTs were already crowded enough when it came to your proposal about having pets on public transport. Where did that come from?
Yeah, no. So I have one part where I say let's emulate the MTR's new policy.
Okay, the Hong Kong one.
The pet on the weekend trains, one car need a license, certain hours only, must be below a certain weight in a carrier.
Okay.
I thought quite balanced, what?
Yeah.
Right. Then turns out people on Reddit fight with each other about this nonsense. And then of course my area, Mountbatten, 73% private property, they are already used to seeing dogs and cats in their everyday life. But the number one place that people want to bring their pets to, right, it's not like Sembawang CC or what, no. They want to bring to Gardens by the Bay.
Yeah.
The TEL is very underutilized, no. Can you imagine if we say along this line, and this hour on the weekend, we give you a pass onto these stations, you can bring a pet. I think people like.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only a few stations only, and you also don't stay at Gardens by the Bay. You also don't go and stay at where Orchard or something. Yeah, it's these few places only. I think just let them enjoy the life.
I mean, also, it's a little bit like exclusionary. Like if you, I know what you're saying. Like the stretch towards Gardens by the Bay, the stations on that line, sure. But all the pet owners who live in the heartlands, much further out, because the people who are living nearer to Gardens by the Bay are going to be in nice affluent areas. But the persons who are living like Sembawang, and they're never going to be able to get to town.
Yeah.
And if you want to, you have to take a Grab pad or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me started on like medium capacity train lines or like down line or whatever. I just talking about let's pick 1-2 lines like TEL like that. Right? Then we can go from there.
It could be positioned as a trial first.
Trial
I
lah,
guess,
yeah,
or
you can
something.
trial
Then-
lah. Obviously the bus cannot on. Maybe the bus is totally out lah, cannot on, right?
I'm fixated on the part that people with pets don't want to go Sembawang CC.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing there. It's like you just go.
But why Sembawang CC?
Nah, I don't know lah. It's just
You think
somewhere
you
there.
go, then you
Just whack lah, somewhere along the north lah. You know.
There was something that I picked up from your leaflet as well that you left here actually.
yeah.
Yeah. Good try, whatever. I straight away throw away. You know. In the office.
You wrote under like state of government, under healthcare, you wrote 50% rise in autism.
I have this stat where I saw the Straits Times. I'm like shocked because we have like I think something like 60% increase in enrollment to mines.
Yeah.
So they are backlogged. So I've been speaking to some people. My cousin is also is a early childhood education guy, professor. So then some of it is attributed to they say screen time. Some of it is attributed to social media algorithms. Because sometimes you screen time, if you whole day watching documentary, I think you bloody genius lah. But if you're watching algorithm doom scrolling, then I think you're gonna have trouble lah, right? Yeah. So even I spoke to Prof Ben yesterday, Ben Leong. He said AI make people either very dumb or very smart lah. Right? That's what he said lah. Yeah. And then he's also having, because the educator, MOE is also asking him advice what to do with this. So the autism thing, right? I was very shocked because growing up, my secondary school was beside a mines. Always nobody on.
Right.
And then suddenly we have this case whereby there's a reported rise over the last couple of years. Not enough facilities to handle them. Then the question is, okay, what is our study? Can we go and study these things? Can we go and understand these things?
Yeah.
Don't jump to conclusion lah, at least. But why do we even have a backlog we cannot fulfill?
Yeah, because I'm wondering whether how much of it is actually more awareness. Maybe parents are now no longer in denial. They're actually realizing that.
But it should look gradual, ma.
Right.
It should be gradual because we have social media for so long already, right? I wouldn't be known as a highway hackler if we didn't have social media back then. I mean, we had social media for a very long time.
But it does track though. Like in the last 3 years or so, there's been a very sharp and a very intense destigmatization of mental conditions in any shape or form.
Yeah.
So even gradual is one thing that people slowly learn to accept it. But very much so in the last 3 years or so, it's been like, okay, actually right now I can see a turning point. And a lot of people are going and like, hey, maybe, my kid does suffer from this. I will get him tested. And then the numbers will add up.
Plus, there could be better detection.
And better detection,
Yeah, I know. But then I think the stat that I saw and I post on my website, I think people can go and check, is that the jump was within year-on-year jump. I'm like, within like 1-2 year jump. Like, so it cannot be so like, suddenly we all became very smart about this. Things, cannot be what? Right? So as in, let's not jump to conclusion. Let's go study it lah. Be like, my job as independent is to go and see all this kind of thing that no party want to take up and talk about. Then I'll be like, where are we like, closing our eyes?
Speaking about things that are not being brought up, something else that was your leaflet. I was really intrigued by it. There were like so many cool points, right? Something that you brought up was that there were $2.5 million in bribes at the zoo. And I was I quickly looked it up. I was also wondering like how much of that is a criticism of the government because there are going to be bad actors.
The whole part, the part of my website is you all want to take credit for good things. You all also must, be penalized for the bad things lah.
Right.
Cannot be, you all did very well on certain policies, then you all, yes, wow, that like Taylor Swift come, well done.
No, but that's us. Then do you ask Pritam, for example, to talk about the Raisha Khan incident during his campaign? Cannot be what?
No, but the thing is that anything that entered the court, right? So like the court found him guilty of whatever is found guilty of. No need to talk already, ma. Case closed already, what? Right. It's like Iswaran, he go serve his time already. So already, what? Right. But you cannot say that you brought in F1, very good. But then when you take Brompton bicycle, also must keep quiet. Right? It must be both sides, right? Right. So it must be, okay, so this is how things work in the BAB, right? How business gets cut, right? You must point this out because now it looks like one data point might be anomaly, but now it looks like there's a few like
pattern lah.
The zoo is one, then you have
what happened to the zoo? Sorry, I don't even know that one.
So the facilities management director at Singapore Zoological Gardens obtained more than $2.4 million in bribes between 2005 to 2016, 11 years.
And I tell you the bigger question to this, including the town council one that I put on my website. Basically, the town council guy take kickbacks from the workers, right?
Oh yeah.
The question is, why is our town council tendering service so opaque?
Which is something that you found as you were doing your research.
Yeah, as I was doing my research, and then town council people will come and read out all the dirty stuff that's happening to me, right? And then they tell me, hey, please don't disclose my name. Right. And they were saying like, in this GRC, got 50 something cases of financial aid a month. So our cost is about 500, 600K a month just for this GRC. He said, this is the reason why your opposition cannot win. You all got 600k a month to go and help these guys or not? Where are you going to find the money from? Right? Financial aid. It could be, somebody like, go study, take student loan, then the mother suddenly got illness, then cannot help you go and work, then can you help me, pay off whatever. So it's true lah. I mean, but it raises the question, how are we getting town council contracts? It's not like GBs, no. GBs, the procedure very clear cut, no. But town council is not GBs, no. Everything is on your own website, no.
Right.
So it literally could be like, you all no tender for media services if I'm the MP. Next time, all the mooncake, whatever you all do. Then what's the accountability? Is wait for town council maintenance report every audit, then can. There's no like, you need to clear a certain whatever.
Right.
I see.
Can you imagine his flyer if the Su Hygiene stuff broke before?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about that? Do you think it's an internal leak or external leak?
Yeah, there were a lot of rumors, but I think
because if the opposition held onto that, right, generally
they would have done it before.
You've done it before, right?
Yeah.
To me, the only thing that really struck me was that picture was already available in the newspaper.
to
cropped,
Taobao.
Yeah.
So that means they must have either had the full version or somebody gave them a cropped version. So whoever that mystery somebody is, or did they just have it and then keep quiet the whole time? That's the very intriguing part to me. I really wonder what the mystery is.
Wow. Why I always appear like one PP dog? Let me think.
No, but that's the conversation.
No. My question is that if so, like for example, we have taken pictures with Iswaran.
Yeah.
Right, he was here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Then at the end of the day, if that's the only
Yeah.
available picture of him that they have, then there's a picture with us. Then they are going to crop him out. It doesn't mean that I did anything wrong. What?
No, that's fine. But like, why
Yeah.
that day? Why did that newspaper post that picture with a minister next to him, and then they only cropped to show him in that case?
Because it could have been the
He's
only
a
photo
very-
that they
Because
had.
that's
and it
the-
was-
that's-
Sure, but isn't
they
it
want a
not?
photo of him,
And that photo wasn't publicly available, right?
Okay, so apparently Taobao had it for a very long time now, right? It's just that until the minister comes out and says anything, then they will confirm. Apparently that's the official
Yeah.
line.
Yes.
So to answer your question, nothing wrong, then publish earlier lah.
Publish already, yeah.
Earlier lah, 2 years already.
That
3
day
years
when they
already.
publish
posted
what?
As in-
the picture of this criminal.
No, but what is there to publish?
No, I'm just asking. Okay, so they want to. Okay, I'm about to write a piece about this
Yeah.
guy. I want to post a picture of him. I have this picture.
You're saying
Next to
why
him
was it
is a
cropped?
political office holder.
Yeah.
There's a question to be asked. I'm media. I will ask a question. I'll put his picture up and say, this guy got arrested. What's this guy doing next to him?
Yeah.
There's definitely an
Must ask,
explanation. Yeah,
Must
that's
ask,
my thing. Like,
Why
why there's...
he's actually asking why does it need to be cropped? Because sometimes, like for example, they may have an article about Dr. Paul Tambaya. They may put a photo of him with Ong Yi Kang. Like
Right,
the photo
right,
that
right,
they
right.
have. They won't
That's
crop
exact-
out
yeah.
somebody.
I'm thinking if it's incriminating. If let's say we bring again Iswaran and it's us and it's me and Iswaran.
No, but also I think it's
and it's an
setting-
article about him. Do we take the full shot and then put on
No,
the
I
left
al-
is John? Because that's inconsequential.
No, I also think
will crop Iswaran out.
I also think is the optics of it, right? Being in a restaurant,
Private
Yeah,
dining.
yeah,
private dining, and then during COVID, right? It's in like you go out there to network, right? In these restaurants, it's not like you see Pritam Singh shaking hand with Lawrence Wong. Let's
Yeah.
start a new chapter together like that. Though. This is together your restaurant eating everything. So
Yeah.
it's like this kind of thing must ask first lah, right?
Yeah.
Lor, but anyway lah, whatever.
Yeah.
Over already
Yeah.
lah.
Just
Mandate very strong.
The last thing about the leaflet again, I'm very obsessed
yeah, I
with
love the
leaflet. We
leaflet.
were looking at it just now. There was baby Bitcoin funds. Very interested because I'm a parent. Like, can you elaborate?
The very thesis of that is that you must invest early for somebody. You don't give them things that they can spend away, right? And then you lock it until they're 21 years old. You let them compound money, right? If you compound in Singapore dollars, it's that the government promised that you must get it back in some real returns, right? But for me, I wrote that with the intention to strike up the conversation of wealth inequality. Because you as a kid, if your parents are just not even fully paid off the HDB, whatever they have for you is you just hope every Chinese New Year you got rich relative can't give you ang pao lah, right? Yeah. When I was growing up, because most of my parents were bankrupt, poor, my everything. My parents had to break my piggy bank so often.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's like I don't get to start compounding my savings until I start earning money.
Yeah.
But why do we do this to our future generation? If anything, like I think this year they give about 16k worth of benefits for the third child.
Yeah.
Then okay lah, there's leeway to go and think about compounding for wealth inequality purposes lah.
Right.
And I open up that conversation. Obviously, it's a bit of a meme lah, because people call it BBFA, right? Yeah, but the whole point is that y'all are freeholders. Freeholders can compound wealth very well. Leaseholders, right? You're not compounding. So it was more to drive that message lah. Some policies, I'm not PAP. I'm not, even if I'm worker party also, the policy won't be written into law.
Yeah.
But to drive that message, right? And this is what politics is about. You have to go
Right.
and open up that conversation. Right?
So it's seeing how a portion, if not a partial part of the baby bonus going to an investment.
That is locked until you're 21.
And it goes to the
Yeah,
child.
so that at like 18 years old, you feel like,
Like a Bruneian lah, basically of a certain age they give you a bit of land lah.
And then it's like, then I feel like, I got stake in the country, I got something that's coming in 3 years, I don't feel so bad. You know, in NS, right, there are a lot of people that, because they are, they run into hardship, they moonlight, then they go DB, but earn money first, protect the family first. We don't want Singaporeans to feel as if like they're not protected in this sort of situation.
Right.
We want to know like something's been compounding for you in the last 20 years. Right. You will be able to, that's how people felt about CPF last time, right? But now it's like, how come the goalposts keep moving further and further away?
Do you see it that way? Because I do feel like you are a smart, educated person, right? Do you feel like the CPF is changing in a way where it's really moving the goalposts? I personally don't think so.
Because I went on the 1M65 podcast.
Oh, I love that guy, by the way.
Yeah. A lot of them are still trying to compound their CPF in a way he did. But to do the way he did, your property must be paid off first. If not, you're forever losing out on gains because your OA is being paid to your property. So the question always comes down to, if your property is so high, then can you eventually pay it off and then start the OA to SA transfer and then using your SRS to do everything you want to do right? So even he knows the SA shielding, right, affected his entire 1M65 thesis. Now there's no more shielding, then he's like, wow, how to do this? Yeah, and a lot of people do that calculation, they really have to just increase their income more because they cannot change the pricing of house. So I feel like it's moving away.
What were some of your key takeaways, I guess, from the entire experience of running in the election?
Well, retail politics is really hard to fight. Like,
what is retail politics?
$1 eggs, people telling me, June I got voucher, May I cannot vote for you. Later no more voucher, how? They don't know the budget is issued already. Like,
it's confirmed.
Yeah, even if the whole parliament all, suddenly got lightning strike the place or whatever, the budget is issued already. Right. And then secondly also is small stuff like ferrying of volunteers to the rally site giving out umbrella It's the feeling that you have access to the politician, the feeling you have access to a system, the feeling that you have this backup. There were people that I think after our podcast that day, they come to me, hey, I'm not interested in politics because you all go to parliament, Workers' Party also cannot change anything. But I'm interested in town council.
Right.
Very rational point of view. So then now I'm discussing with like independents and other political parties, right? How do we open source more of the information and processes that underpin our town council? One of my residents even said, next time you just get any guy to run purely on the basis of I'll be the best town council manager. Politics? What politics? I don't care. Just town council only. Might win. He might win. Right? So like maybe he could be a former town council guy, a former PA guy, and then he's like, I know everything. I've all this software, these people to help me. And all the best contracts, everything. Your estate will be clean.
At this point, will you say, right, in the next GE, right, you will run?
Yeah, I will.
100%.
Yeah.
It's whether as an independent or by then.
Whether or not the shape is Mountbatten or whether or not we have a new GRC called Mountbatten Marine Parade Braddock Heights.
Or Jeremy's, but under the Jeremy's
I really want to, run because if not, it's just like you one hit wonder. Then
correct. No, of course the wish is everybody hope you run again, then you show commitment, right?
Yeah.
But as someone has done it, you've gone pretty far.
Yeah.
You will continue the groundwork not for purpose of your next election, but because you want to make a difference in community.
Correct. And also because sometimes if I choose not to run, people will not take me seriously that I want to make change.
Yeah. Agree.
But because I'm willing to put myself out again to run, then people will be like, okay then we can really talk. There are millionaires and billionaires waiting to fund any action that I do.
Wow.
Some people ask me, can you set up a more conservative business party, so less of the vouchers, less of the all these things, back to free market principles, thing. So then the rich people of Mountbatten talk like that, and they're like, business. If I can do it, why other people cannot do it? Surely people can. Skill problem, right? You all cannot. There are people that are willing to do it. I guess the question is whether or not winning 5 more seats is considered success. Right? If, for example, Workers' Party get 15 seats and then I get 5 more seats, is that really successful still? Right? Because a lot of the criticism that we want about government can be done outside of parliament. Right? So now that is the kind of question I have with myself.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's just say I'm very successful. I win just 1 seat. Is that success for Singapore already, or is it just the show that we want? Like we stick it to the man. I don't see that is a really like the outcome people want. And people want to be able to see that people can check the government fairly. And the only way we do that is when more people like myself, Daryl, come up. Even you fail the run, you keep going and you ever... What is that? Yeah. And then you just keep going, talking about these things. And
is it mutually exclusive though? Because you could win a seat and still carry on the work that you're doing outside of Parliament.
It is not mutually exclusive, but if you lose a bit of vote share the next time round, right, and then people will be like, well, I guess that was just a novelty effect. That's not very helpful either because people start to write you off, right? So the win has to be on all fronts, on advocacy, on political balance also, and also with engaging the next batch of voters to come in and to look at politics. A lot of people told me, the younger ones, that they watched my rally 2-3 times.
Wow.
Because they didn't understand certain issues, they need to go back, replay. And then some of them, they like just jokes, right?
It was really funny,
The next batch of voters, right?
You think your delivery was fucking confusing then?
I watched it already 3 times myself.
Is it?
Across the whole...
I don't tell you how many times I watched myself. No, but I think the voter apathy thing is real. Like, you want people to understand issues, right? It should be like that, then. Like I think I was on one podcast. Somebody said, I voted with you because you told the audience, why do you join politics? I said, my mother cannot sell the house lah. Then I just join politics lah. Simple. Wait for what? He said, based on that, right? Take action. Don't talk. Right. So, but the youth, they don't understand a lot of policies because you need history. You need to think about what the people have already said. You need to do the boring stuff like I did. I got to read the entire 14th Parliament Hansard. See what the policies that people say they do. Know which PAP member actually oppose, which PAP member just read off the script. By the bomb sack, So these kind of things is my job lah. But then now your job is you're going to cut media clips, you're going to share the stuff that I share, then you'll get better understanding. So that's why my website, I put dark mode, light mode, English, Malay, Chinese. Then I made the UI. You want to see the policies, you enter, you press one button, you see the policy.
It's very thoughtful.
Right? You go to PSP SDP website, need to go to the PDF section, then got the flipping, still got the sound. PSP, the manifesto, you go right. You press next page, got the...
Bro, but X, bro.
But that is the demographic of voter that Tan Cheng Bock and his people have made inroads in.
I can imagine the guy use the widget and Tan Cheng Bock just lose
They
his mind.
celebrated their birthdays together.
He's very good this boy. Computer very good.
Hey, that's just that bad, right? And it's like politics is as simple as this. Even your UI or website must be straight away. It's like your thumbnail. Okay, like you all do thumbnail, like Mr. Beast have all these like thumbnail dynamics or whatever. Politics though, they come to your website, they're so busy with their life, they don't want to have to read one bunch of crap.
It's true.
That's why you just straight away press button, see, then go TikTok, see, then okay lor. Then the PSP and SDP and all these guys, very smart people, but they made them so inaccessible. Even the media people that talk to me, CNA, all that, right? They say, okay, Workers' Party has a traditional policy, don't talk to media. Right? We tell you where's the doorstop, but we don't tell you where we walk about. Right? Then PSP and SDP, some of your rookies are very good, right? They need better access. Why did you all not coordinate a strategy? Everybody say, hey, independent, no resources. I spent 8K only for this campaign outside the rally.
Oh, really?
Outside of the rally. Okay. Flyer, poster. I tell my volunteer, you're very passionate, right? I'm not paying you for food. No, I eventually go to host some volunteer appreciation barbecue. Everybody say party got resources, then why you no social media? Right? How come only Leong Man Wai and Hazelbar go like maybe a few podcasts? I think they came from here, Yalabat or... But you're
that was before,
a whole slate of people to go GRCs, right? Everybody must coordinate, ma. You don't coordinate, then you're all like, what's the point of having the resources?
In fact, they were quiet for a lot of the campaigning days.
I think the feeling was that having the Tan Cheng Bock effect plus Leong Man Wai's performance in Parliament the last term, I think they felt like that was enough. And they probably also know that at rallies, right, or like when they go and say stuff, right, they always get misunderstood. So maybe they feel like the work has done for themselves and let's not create more exposure out there. And
Workers' Party don't need to do all that because they got incumbent advantage and really credible candidates, right? But all the other parties, I think PSP, SDP included, you should have put in more effort to go and make yourself more accessible. Right? And then also with Dr. Paul Tambaya, like I've been saying this, I love that guy. I was quoted as, I think he's my favorite opposition candidate outside of PAB. But his policy of making Singapore pay for free healthcare, right? It cannot. The moment you say NHS, it sticks until nobody can read their mind of the idea.
Yeah.
And I think also a lot of people attribute. I think one person on Reddit wrote that Dr. Paul Tambaya was seen 1 to 2 times a week at Bukit Panjang, but unfortunately for him, Liang Eng Huang was seen 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah, I saw this quite a bit.
Like people from Bukit Panjang was saying, look, we love Dr. Paul, but Liang Eng Huang has really been doing a lot on that.
People were saying that he should not have foregone one election running there. He should keep trying the same place there. Right?
Yeah.
Right. I live next to Bukit Panjang. I live Bukit Batok, right? Bro, if you go Bukit Panjang, right, you can go the entire day without seeing the sun. That's how many sheltered walkways he has actually put up there. And people who live there, my friends who live there, they are like, this is my main complaint. And he's fixed it. I have no reason not to vote for MP. Like,
it's not the complaints, I don't see the sun. Like fucking, it's like that one. You cannot please the cannot please the rakyat.
But the people who like the only people who are
walking the rakyat will be happy and satisfied.
Yeah, but and it was
they wanted it, they fixed it. They had no reason to vote. Yeah,
he did the $1 deals also, I think.
Yeah. So that's a new thing to complain, I guess. No sun.
Now no sun.
Fucking low vitamin D.
Before you leave, like you mentioned about young voters and young people, and I think it's not hard to imagine that you are now a role model to, I think, a lot of them. I think a lot of young people, at least segments of it, are somewhat disillusioned. They are, feel outpriced when it comes to home ownership, anxious about jobs. You are a self-made man. You hustled to where you are today. What would you say to maybe young people who are feeling a bit lost?
Yeah, I think, don't be afraid to speak out. Don't wait for people's approval for you to speak out. In the sense that, when you join a party, you need to volunteer, show loyalty. Then you need to have personnel management also, like, what if one of your volunteers says something wrong? And then you need to go and do damage control. The reason why I run as independent is that there's also an advantage in just going out there, speak your mind, no logo. I might have logo, but like no party management issue, no control. Fast to the point. I don't need to, let me clear my media team. Let me clear my stratcom team. And that's the way politics should be. It should be issue first, then all the personnel stuff later. But the way that the current system is built, it's like everything is process first, not product first. I've been trying to do product first because that's the only way you cut through the noise law.
But to do things at scale, like for example, I was also thinking, you run a good campaign. I was rooting for you, despite I'm a vocal supporter of many of the
PAP dog, right?
Together. No, I was thinking also like, okay, why don't I be your campaign manager for you next time, right? I will handle your comms such that when you do this thing, you won't TTTT, right?
Yeah.
But that's how it begins, right? Let's say you value my service, I will be your campaign manager. Then as a campaign manager, I will have 2 phones. So I might pass my phone, I will ask Dan to come and be a volunteer.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you build your machinery, then we go back to the same shit. Is it not? Isn't it the burden of success?
So we thought like I got success.
Have lah.
Performing
the 12.2% absenteeism rate. So I always remember the rich Mountbatten people complaining on their business flight. What is this? Why we didn't get the candidate we want?
Maybe they watch a rally on their SQ flight back home on business class.
So the thing is, municipality issues is the reform is on mayoral side. You need to detach the municipality stuff from the MP stuff. This one, everybody talk about it. Right? As long as you can do that, then the MP can freely talk about issues, right? And not have to go and sit at the meet the people session, watch the guy write pen and paper, right wrong, clear wrong. It's really like, the line, I say one to you, then you say to him, then you say that, then the
broken
telephone thing, right? I can't believe I forgot what's that.
I think his question is like for young people.
But for young people.
Not about politics.
Because right now, it just seems that you have to clear the municipality hurdle before you can even have your voice heard. So what I'm working on is I'm organizing with a bunch of people. One, EBRC hackathon. How should boundaries be drawn?
Wow, interesting.
Second, open town council. What are the software required to have a good town council? The cost. So I speak to some contractors or that, and then we're going to get people who failed the tenders. No more angry people that failed tender and no transparent process. Why I failed tender? Why? I cannot get. Don't tell you. What the hell? Okay, then I pauted the whole process. So I'm working on that. And once you have open town council processes, API, software, toolkit, you can deploy anywhere. Now we can talk about municipality issues as out of the way first.
Right.
Kick it out of the way first. Then EBRC also is linked to municipality because you draw Marine Parade High so big, only people with money can enter it.
Right.
When you raise the spending cost, right, $5 per voter, only PAP can really go at you, right?
Right.
Because you got the money, they can put more poster, you can take the noisy vehicle, go around one, vote for PAP.
Perambulator.
Perambulating vehicle,
Yeah,
like,
perambulating
ancient
vehicle,
system.
yeah.
So you talk about youth voters being engaged, right? They want to know how to be engaged. They need to clear this hurdle. Very hard to clear this hurdle. So we work together, we clear this hurdle together.
Especially for those who feel unheard lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some of them, they never run business. They do their day job. They're very good and idealistic in certain things. But then I need to go and learn how town council work in order for me to have my voice heard.
Yeah.
Very stupid, right?
Right.
Yeah, as if like only one person doing this part-time job can solve town council like that.
And I guess that's what a lot of people like about you, because you don't just say it, you're actually doing it, you're actually building this.
Yeah. So that's why I mean, we talk about the first step is I want to engage all the youth. Then I go and get them to like, guys, you all didn't like the way it was drawn. I also don't like the way it was drawn. But you all can now work on it. Open source project. Let's go and do it together.
That's quite safe.
So next 5 years, but obviously I don't want to release it too early. Later she'll kena mark.
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us again. Very glad that we had this breeding room to talk.
You managed to finish?
Yeah.
Finish. Okay.
Is there anything you want to say? Yeah.
No, because that time she was asking me, you sell one cleanser by one cleanser. Then I'm like, do I talk about this or do I talk about the strategic Bitcoin reserve? You know?
Which I thought was really good because
to go there.
it really showed the hustle that you actually went through to get It showed the measure of the man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How was your wife's support during this period?
She's my campaign manager. So any clips that she tell me post on IG, she posts on TikTok. Then, so you can buy the voter rolls to see if you. Hello, sir, Mr. Ng.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a CSV file. What people used to do is they print out the bloody thing. So I'm just like so stupid.
Yeah.
So what she did was she built an app.
As you do. Wow.
Yeah, within an hour. When you go to any house, so that your volunteers, right, they cannot see everybody's records. They can only see their place visiting. And if they want to book a house meeting or a call with me, she just need to press the app and can book it. Then goes to my calendar.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so then that's how I covered so much ground. Because last time it's always, PAP starts what, right? 20 volunteers trail.
Yeah,
你几点要? Okay, then I call the MP come over. For me, it's just like the volunteers go, then they just pressure.
Wow, if you sell this to all the parties.
Yeah, as in there was a party that was very like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
No, because it's PDPA, it's better also because PDPA, right? You don't want multiple people having papers walking around, then you leave it away, people take whatever. No. So we kept it to like 10 results. You go this block, you can only see 10 results. Then you can see.
Right.
Yeah. So we built the app. Then the moment election campaigning over, we delete. We just block access.
Wow.
And your wife did that?
Yeah, my wife did that. She's a master's in computer science.
So if you were to give her an appraisal now at the end of the whole cycle, how would you rate her?
Definitely better than 36.16%.